If there's one thing that too many people do is they tolerate way too much. So tonight we're going to discuss the 5 things that you need to stop tolerating and how it applies to your day trading as well. So number 1, just to get right into it, we need to discuss toxic people. Now, I've done lots of videos out there talking about how you need to cut people out of your life. And I know it's difficult. It's not something that people want to do. And it seems really harsh and everything else. But the best way to look at this is if these people are not there to support you and they're constantly filling your head with cancerous thoughts and ideas and telling you that you're not going to make it. And it doesn't matter who it is either. Like it could be friends, family, anyone. If they're there and they're putting thoughts, negative thoughts into your head, you need to cut them out of your life. You really need to stop tolerating toxic people. It's something that a lot of people do just because you don't want to hurt people's feelings. I get it. Okay, I understand that. But that's when my life truly changed and it completely did a 180 is when I started to cut those types of people out of my life where it's only just it's a one-way type of friendship where you'll help them, but nothing gets reciprocated. Actually, Chrissy and I were talking about that tonight, about a friend that we had in LA, and the amount of business that we gave them. We're talking, well over $1 million in business, and being friends, thinking we were friends, and nothing ever got reciprocated. There was no help, especially when there could have been. There was an in for that. Now, I'm not talking about that friendship needs to always have that two-way street, but if you love someone and care about someone, you should want to see them succeed, right? And you should want to help in any way possible. At least that's the way I was brought up. So toxic people, number 1, get them out. Stop tolerating that. Now, number 2, stop tolerating toxic and negative stimulus. So what I mean by that is your intake. Whatever you are taking in. Now, I know that I have a problem with this as well because it is almost forced upon us, right? Like it's everywhere. When you go on social media, it is full of toxicity. It's something that 100% you will not be able to get rid of fully. It's next to impossible. Especially for me, I'm unable to completely eliminate social media out of my life. And there needs to be a balance. And what you need to do if your feed is full of toxic, negative bullshit, you can always start another account and be very mindful of that algorithm and what you're clicking on, what you're spending time watching, and that new account of yours will be full of positivity. And at risk of sounding super flaky, remember, everything that we consume should be feeding and nourishing us. And if it isn't, and it's causing you stress, anxiety, depression, I believe that that's number 1 reason why we have such a depressed society right now is social media. Like I'm a huge advocate of, taking ownership, and it's not social media because there's a lot of positive out there in social media as well. So at the end of the day, you need to turn around and look at yourself in the mirror because that's a person to blame. It is the intake. It is what you are spending time in watching. And how that translates into trading is if you fill your mind full of positivity instead of negativity, it's only going to help your mentality. And mentality is everything when it comes to trading. Number 3. So this is a big one. It's something that everybody deals with when you are transitioning into a full-time trading position or just becoming a trader. We have limiting beliefs. We start limiting ourselves, okay? And we start telling ourselves like, do I really deserve this? It's almost like self-sabotage, and it's huge. I've seen so many people, what's funny? I can tell you a really quick story. This just happened on Screen Share. Now, I run a service, Tricktrades, and on Screen Share, I was giving a talk about self-sabotage. And literally, because of the example that I used triggered one of the members. And it wasn't even an example that I would consider off subject, off topic, something that you shouldn't talk about. And the point was very clear with what I was talking about. This member completely unraveled, self-imploded, and it was self-sabotage. And this person was removed from the service and the whole nine. I happen to know that he was just lashing out because he's having difficulties right now financially. And a lot of people like to blame others and everything else. And it just spirals out of control. But it boils down to people not thinking that they deserve this, and they think that they are less than. I'm telling you right now, you absolutely deserve to fucking be here. You deserve to be here. You deserve to provide for your family. You deserve freedom. You deserve financial freedom. You deserve it. And you need to tell yourself that. And that's probably, although this is number 3, this is probably the biggest point. Because each and every one of you watching this, you fucking deserve it. You deserve a better life. You deserve to get away from the chains of the 9 to 5. You really do. And I thought that, like, I don't deserve this. I'm just a blue collar welder. Why do I deserve this? I'm not supposed to live like this. And then you have to have that conversation. You need to catch yourself doing that, and you need to cut that shit out, because you do deserve this 100%. Now, number 4 is a big one. It has to do with settling, and it ties back in with number 3. So it's 3 and 4 are very tied in. Settling for, that's all right. That's good enough. I only deserve this. Fuck that. You deserve the best. Don't ever settle for second place, so to speak, right? This isn't a competition, but settling for something that is less than what your standard should be, and you should each and every one of you watching this should have very high standards, very high standards. Because when it comes to being a successful person, not even just a successful trader, you need to shoot for the stars. You almost need a tiny touch of delusion in order to do this. Now, you can't be super delusional, because we've all met those people and they're super delusional, and that's like, it doesn't work out, right? But never settling. Don't settle for something that isn't the best. Because number 1, you're probably going to waste a lot of money. Okay? Now, I'll give you an example and a little bit of an analogy of something personal. Now, I collect watches, and it's not for the clout. It's not for the flex of them. I love timepieces. I love the mechanics of them. I could talk for hours about them. I'm absolutely in love with them. They are art, is what they are. But when you first get into watch collecting and you can afford a certain piece, now this is what a lot of people do. They will settle for something. They'll settle for, it's like, well, I can't afford that one, so I'm going to get that one. Okay? Now it looks the same, but you're never going to be satisfied. And that's the point here. It doesn't matter whether it's timepieces, watches, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, it does not matter. You will not be satisfied. Okay? Don't settle, because it will leave you unfulfilled and unsatisfied. And it's only going to get you chasing again. You'll continue to chase. Okay? And that's obviously ties into trading really well with chasing. If you miss an opportunity, or you settled for a shitty trade instead of just being patient for the trade you really wanted, you're going to close out that position with a loss. And then you're probably missing the one opportunity that you really wanted. And then you start chasing. We all know how that turns out. So do not settle. You deserve the best. Get the best. No matter how long it takes you to get that. Even if it takes you a little bit longer, get the best. Go with the best. Okay? The number one thing that we all need to stop tolerating to be not only successful traders, but just successful in life, You need to stop tolerating not doing things for yourself. Self-sufficiency, self-reliance. You may not think that being self-sufficient to produce, and this is just an example, okay? Don't take it too literally. Produce and raise your own meat, your own nutrition to provide for your family, like chickens. Something as simple as chickens. They produce eggs, they produce meat. You may not think that that translates into trading at all, but it does. And I'll tell you why. Because every single thing that we do, and the more that I grow, not only as a person, but as a trader, you need to rely and depend on yourself fully and completely. It is important, okay? Now, we all have people that we look up to. We have mentors, we have coaches. That's not what I'm talking about. If you are constantly relying on others, what you're going to end up doing is, it's almost like you need that safety blanket. That safety blanket, it's like a crutch. And it boils down to like way back deep in the mind subconsciously. It's so that you can blame that person when something goes wrong. What we need to do to be successful in life and as traders is to cut all of that out so there is nobody to blame but ourselves for any situation that you find yourself in on those charts. It's super important and super necessary. We need to start striving and driving towards being self-sufficient. Now, this is a topic that I am in love with. That's what I'm driving towards. And it's not just because I'm driving towards it that I'm trying to push it onto other people. I don't think I'm better than someone because I am working towards that self-sufficiency. I am in a very privileged situation to where I am able to do that, where I'm able to dedicate time. But it doesn't need to be like literally everything. It should turn out that way down the years and down the road. But for right now, just little things. So let's say the next time your toilet breaks or your sink gets clogged, instead of calling a plumber, do it yourself. Be self-sufficient. We live in an age of information. We have all heard that. And it is true. It takes 2 seconds to look things up on YouTube or any other platform out there. It'll show you how to get that sink unclogged. It'll show you how to do things yourself. Now, is all of the information correct? No, but that's the beauty of it, because you're going to learn by making mistakes and doing things wrong. And the one time that you fix that sink or that toilet, just the one time, you have learned a new skill. And that's what it's about. Like, a lot of people want to know what the secret of life is and what the meaning of life is. It's about becoming fulfilled. It's about learning and knowledge. We should all want to devour knowledge and information. Doing things for ourselves is a perfect excuse to do that. You can learn so much. Why wouldn't you want to? Like, a lot of people will ask me questions on things that they should be taking care of themselves. Now, I understand that that's why I'm here. Like, I get it. And I've said this before. I understand why they're asking me, because I'm there. And I am open to answering questions. But some of these questions, the amount of time it took you to write that out, type that question out, and wait for my response, you could have answered it yourself. And when you do that and you start answering these questions yourself, you start giving yourself a little mental pat on the back, is what you start doing. And that's important for confidence. It's all tied in. Doing things for yourself leads to confidence. It leads to success. It leads to believing in yourself. So at the end of it, at the end of these 5 things, this is why we need to stop tolerating all of this, to be better and do better. Because at the end of the day, it's going to lead to providing for our families and our freedom. Adios, folks.